Right, well, good morning from Dornie, start place for this year's TGO challenge. This year's TGO challenge is a castle to castle route. So I'm starting here with Eilean Donan Castle behind me, and I'll be finishing in 13 days time at Red Castle. So it feels a bit surreal to be here, but I guess it's time to go and sign out from the hotel and go and get my feet wet in some salt water to make this a proper coast to coast crossing. So off we go. I have to say, it feels good, if slightly surreal, to be on the move. Back in mid-February, we were told by our landlord that they wanted to sell a house that we've been living in for the last 5 years. And we live in West Wales, where there isn't much supply of housing, and what there is incredibly expensive. And so the next 3 months were house. And then 4 days before setting off was when we finally moved into our first home that we bought. So, haven't had any time to think about walking. Haven't even put a pack like this on since July last year. So this is going to be a hard walk, but it's the break I needed, really. Well, I've just had the most wonderful hour. I've just come down off the Bailach up there in the background, and then I've spent the last hour walking up the Glen Elchaig with a lovely guy called Trevor. So one of the things that's just absolutely magical about the TGO challenge, we ended up bushwhacking down because the path doesn't exist anymore, and then just having a really lovely chat. He's going up the falls of Glomach, I think, and then going on to the African Tailway, whereas I'm carrying on up to Iron Lodge, and I'm still joining the African Tailway but going around the back. Right, well, I'm at Iron Lodge, which is my halt for the night. I'm going to see if I can find somewhere to pitch somewhere by this waterfall, perhaps down here or something, with views down the glen. Very hot day today, and I'm not quite used to the weight of the pack. It's been a while since I've worn it. I think time to try and wash some of the clothes off, have a bit of a clean and get some food going. Good morning. It's just coming up to 7 o'clock.
and the sun's starting to make its way down the valley walls now. Cold night last night. That's the problem at the moment with all these sunny days, as the temperature plummets overnight, but luckily I upgraded my quilt. I'm glad I did. Today's going to be a hard day, going up to Loch Maludoc, then up to the Bailach, and then down into Glen Affric, which I'm really excited for, but I think I'm going to get an early start on this one so that I can do most of the incline before it really starts to get hot, because yesterday afternoon was punishing.
Okay, well that's the first, I guess, mini climb of the day done. I've just come around the corner into this absolute blinding sunlight. It's going to be another gorgeous day today. The only problem is it's going to be hot, so plenty of sun cream, plenty of filtering water along the way. But I mean, look at that. Checked my GPS and it tells me it's taken me just over 2 hours to do a little over 4 miles, which is really slow for me. But while I've been on these, I guess, old Land Rover tracks, quite a large part of it has actually been on that tussocky boggy grass, just bushwhacking across. I can only imagine how much harder that would have been if we weren't in the drought conditions. But anyway, I've got a stream to cross, which I was warned about by the vetter, but given we're in drought conditions, I would imagine will just be a case of stepping across some stones and then all the way up to Bailach a Glianan. Made it to the top of the Bailach. I'm absolutely cream crackered. My legs are like jelly. Thank goodness there's a breeze up here because the heat has just been energy sapping. Anyway, so now it's downhill all the way into Glen Affric and then along the forest tracks until I find somewhere to camp. So Another 2 or 3 hours. Good morning and welcome to another glorious day, day 3 on the TGO challenge. I didn't really film so much over the last hour yesterday, last 3 or 4 miles, just because it was going through Glen Affric, which the first part of it from the other side was a bit forestry track and not much changing views. And then I also happened across Louise and Laura, a couple of other challengers, and so we walked the last hour together. And I don't really like filming with other people, and I was just enjoying their company, and I think that's partly what the challenge is about. So anyway, today is off to Cannock. It's only about 12 miles. Laura and Louise are doing the same as me, but I was just ready to set off a bit early. I don't really tend to have breakfast, I tend to snack through the morning. Yesterday was a really hard day. I pushed myself probably a bit too far and a bit too hard early, but today's only a 12 mile. Not as much ascent, and it's not really any big climbs, it's just undulating stuff on these tracks. So I'm really looking forward to getting there early, getting some hot food at Cannock, having a shower, doing some laundry, and just really setting myself up for the next few days. Well, I've got about an hour and a half to go left into Cannock now. It's just on these kind of forestry tracks all the way. The sun's radiating off the forestry track, hence the sun hoodie up and lots of sun cream. Glen Affric, yeah, it was pretty, it was beautiful, but it wasn't quite what I thought I'd seen from the photos. I wonder whether some of the photos haven't been from by the African Tailway, but maybe on the other side of the loch, because a lot of it was that I came through was on track like this, and yes, it was Scots pines, but they were all quite, you know, packed in around you. It wasn't like I was walking on slightly more open hillside with Scots pines dispersed around you. And I have seen photos of that, so I think maybe that's just a different side. But now all I can think of is just great, big, fat, juicy chips. I'm praying that I can get some in Cannock. At the very least, I'm going to get a big bottle of Coke.
Good evening and welcome to my palace. I initially booked this just in case the first couple of nights have been a washout and I needed a bit of a mental pick-me-up, but it's actually been lovely, so this is just a night of luxury. I've got my laundry done, I've had a lovely shower, I found my chips and a can of Coke, so I'm a happy boy. But it has been hot and hard work. In fact, Louise and Laura, the two challenges I met yesterday afternoon and then spent the evening with, they've just walked into camp about an hour or two ago and have decided to come off the trail just because the heat is just too much. I think Louise's words are quite like what she just said. It's just unnecessary. So, plan tomorrow is get up early, and get as many miles in before it gets to about 11, because that's when it's been hotting up. It's not like I'm going up and over any hills or passes tomorrow, but that forestry track just heats up in the sun. So hopefully I can get to Drumnadrochit without being too worse for wear. I know I can get a takeaway there and a good shower and charge everything up, so it's not like I'm wild camping tomorrow, because then afterwards it's over the monolith, which is going to be tough into Aviemore. But I guess it's just slow, steady, lots of water, and just respect the heat really. So I'll see you in the morning.